Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the HESN Football Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McLaren, for another great episode of some good football talking coming from our nation's capital here in Ottawa. I'd like to welcome everyone to episode 2. Another great week of football in Ottawa. Obviously, when the Red Blacks are winning like that, makes everyone feel good in the city. So congratulations on the Ottawa Red Blacks 35-13 victory against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm joined today by my mainest man, best friend, business partner, Jesse Carr. Say what's up to the great people in Ottawa.
How's it going, everybody? Glad to be on the podcast. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We actually took him away from the computer. He's been busy sort of developing this HESN thing that we got going on right now. So he's been busy at the computer over the last few months, sort of breaking it all down for everyone and trying to make something that we want to get everyone registered for. So he's been doing a great job. So when you see Jesse, make sure you guys give him a thanks. What's up for that?
Yeah, if you're an athlete, basically HESN is our new product, our new initiative, and it's basically designed to help athletes get more exposure and also build a support team around them, like a boxer would have people in their corner. We want to provide that same level of support for any athlete that's serious about doing what they're doing. So get registered. It's free to register, hesn.co, and we'll go from there.
And, we wanted the .co because we didn't want to be .com or .ca or anything else. We wanted it to be something that different so when you remember. So remember, hesn.co, everybody. Check that out. What we're going to do before we get going on the NCAFA stuff from last week, we're going to just do our quick little synopsis of all the other football that we had going on here in the amateur ranks in the city of Ottawa. And as we do every week, we're going to start with the top echelon of the amateur football, which is the CIS, the OUA, the football that we all know and love. And we're going to start with our Carleton Ravens, who ended up losing their first game of the season, 34-24 to the, very good Queens Golden Gales. They got...
it's a tough loss, though.
It's a tough loss.
It's not how they wanted to start their third year.
They obviously, with Carleton Ravens, the expectations with Coach Samara and all the guys that they have. But, I said at the start of the year, this game has the first game of the season has playoff implications. And, Carleton was up 20-7 at the half, I believe. They had the mojo going. They ended up losing 34-24. I didn't get to watch all of the game. I did get to watch sort of the last 8 or so minutes, and I can tell you I saw a drop touchdown by somebody there. I can't remember who it was, but it was a drop touchdown, and with about 4 minutes to go.
Barry, right?
Thashawn Barry.
New guy. I'm not familiar with the player,
but it was a big chance for a kid to make a big play. It would have been a tying touchdown. It was 31-24 at that point. But at the end of the day, it's a disappointing loss. That's all it was. And I want to tip my cap to the Queens Golden Gales for obviously always doing a great job scheming. Local boy, is his name Jesse Andrews?
Jesse Andrews, West Carleton Wolverine. He's from the West End, Arm Prior, I believe.
185 yards rushing.
That guy's a beast. And I think he was OUA Player of the Week, one of them at least, the one for football. And he had a picture. He looked like a mountain man. He had a huge beard.
Oh, yeah, huge legs. The guy's just a truck. Yeah. Go to OUA.tv if anyone did get a chance to watch the game. I believe they have them all archived there based on my information. So it's a great thing. Queens did a great job on their broadcast.
Yeah, and the big thing they were talking about, Ty, was the playoff implications potentially of even a Week 1 matchup.
That's awesome.
Right? Because they said Queens, Carleton, and Ottawa U are probably going to be vying for that
5 and 6 spot.
That's right.
And you look at the breakdown of the OUA right now. Like, you obviously have your juggernauts or perceived juggernauts: McMaster, Western, Guelph. Those are your top 3. I don't think anyone's going to argue with those top 3. But then what do you got next? And it looks like right now, U of T's right in the mix. It looks like Carleton's right in the mix. Ottawa U and Queens. And obviously Laurier as well with our boy Curly Kings Jr. So
he got in there.
He got in there. Obviously,
I think he had 5
carries for 30 yards.
5 carries for 50 yards.
Yeah,
and 3 receptions. Yeah. So he's getting some action. He looks good in that purple and yellow, purple and gold. It's great to see. Curly's one of the guys that we identified probably at Pee Wee and said, this kid's special.
Oh yeah. It's just good to see just people keep progressing. But like you said, those playoff implications are going to have a big a big role in the season is going to be these games between those 4 teams that we just mentioned. So make sure you guys keep tabs on all the stuff going on OUA so you guys can follow these the stories.
The other call-out for sure is Nate Bahar, right?
Yep.
Entering his 3rd year. He's been talked about as being a potential Heck Crichton guy out of Carleton. Entering his 3rd year. Talk about him going straight to the league from this year even. So he had a good performance. 104 yards, 4 receptions, 1 touchdown. He's our first HESN athlete, and he's still a mentor to this day. He's going to be involved in HESN, so it's great to see him.
But Nate Bahar did all he could. But that Carleton Ravens need to find a way to get him more than 1 catch in the second half. You got to find a way, and if he's a potential Heck Crichton Award winner, if that team is going to try to really win games, they need to get him the ball 15 to 20 times a game in his hand, and that doesn't matter if it's a run or a pass. You got to get it to him, put him back on a punt return if they're covering him well. Find a way to give him the ball because he makes things happen. He had a 70-yard touchdown, I believe. So just give him the ball in his hand. So I put that a little bit on the coaches to make sure they scheme him up and make sure that he can get the ball. But another couple guys, Curtis Schaefer. Another local boy who played in that game for Queens. He's sort of a halfback, linebacker hybrid guy. Super physical.
He played safety at midget.
But
he was a will at Bantam for the Bell Warriors. He came up through the Bell Warriors. Played Norseman in the midget league last year. Didn't play OV. Got himself healed up, and he started training with EPA. And actually, if you want to see how much work this guy put in the summer, check out the Elite Performance Academy mini series that we were working on with them called The Difference. And I think EPA is now scouting for the next season to see who they're going to feature in that next series.
Yeah, the guys at EPA, Pat Wilcock, Donnie Reeves, doing amazing things, really, really making sure that these athletes are prepared for the next level. And talking about Curtis and Mitch Henselwood, both those guys were contributed as first and second year guys. And in the game against Carleton, it was an unbelievable sort of job by Pat and Donnie to make sure those guys are ready. Curtis really had a bad back coming out of midget last year. He was playing a lot of football, but he got himself right. He got himself mentally and physically prepared, and he was able to get in there. And we heard that the Sam got injured midway through the 3rd quarter. And even though Curtis had some reps in there, he played every snap in the 4th quarter at Sam. And
it's a good introduction in a big game like that.
He did a great job, I'm going to go back knowing that, and I'm going to check it out and just scope him for myself. But, congratulations to Curtis. Congratulations to Mitch. Also, Curly Gittins Jr., just off the top of my head, those are some of the guys that we've seen going out there. John Bewald doing it big things in Western. We know he played well. Obviously not too much of a test there against Windsor this week, but good on him doing it. All our boys out east, they're going to be starting up in 10 days, I believe I saw on Facebook today, St. Mary said. So a couple more weeks and we'll have the entire country playing some great football. Ottawa U had a bye this week. I know they're going to be playing Queens at home next weekend. So make sure if you guys are going to go check out some football, go check out that game because basically, like I said, that has playoff implications. And if Queens can beat Carleton and Ottawa, they're going to be in control of their own destiny, right? There's already. So that's a really good thing there. So that's our breakdown of the OUA so far from the HESN Football Podcast. Anything that you wanted to talk about the games there?
No, that just about covers it.
All right, well, the last thing I did want to mention was a little bit of social media. I don't want to call it drama. I think this is what social media really is all about, is just healthy dialogue and two people. And Marshall Ferguson, DJ Bennett, both OUA voices, personalities in the OUA for many years. They're talking a little bit about the scheduling imbalance. And I think DJ Bennett went to Western.
Yeah, he was a running back.
He was a running back at Western, briefly. And Marshall Ferguson was a quarterback at McMaster. So they obviously have their perspective from Mac's perspective and Western's. And what Marshall was saying is that McMaster is playing Guelph and Western on the road, and Western is not playing Guelph, and Guelph is not playing Western. So how can you really determine who's the best team in the regular season if the best teams aren't playing each other? And they were going back and forth about this and that, and DJ saying it's random, and Marshall saying, well, blah, blah, blah. The whole point is that I think Marshall raises a good point. You want to, based on the preseason projections, you sort of know who's supposed to be pretty good. You should find a way to make sure that those top teams are playing each other.
I would agree. I mean, whatever needs to happen to make sure that you get the best football on the field, that should be happening. Now, I don't know if the OUA does, puts that much thought into it, because the truth is there's been some other questionable things in the scheduling over the years that they've done that you would think is a pretty no-brainer. So I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not surprised either. And these are sort of the little things that we talk about with football in Canada, especially at the OUA level. We just wish sometimes a little more thought might be put into these things so that we can deliver a product that's worthy of, the consideration of the fans and the money from the fans and the sponsors. And things like this, to me, are things that sort of devalue the product a bit. I want to see those games during the season.
100% they do.
So
100%.
we need to find a way as people just to sort of recognize that, and maybe when you get an opportunity, voice your opinion. People say you want to see the great games in the OA this year. So that was a bringing it to light there. The next group of guys that we're going to be talking about are the Ottawa Sooners, another local team who had a game this weekend. Unfortunately, it did not go well for the Ottawa Sooners this weekend. They
1-1. Yep.
1-1. They faced off against the Windsor Fratmen, I believe, which are barbarians or Vikings of some sort.
And the way Western took care of Windsor, you'd wonder if who would win out of those two teams.
It was
Windsor or Windsor.
Windsor or Windsor. You would think that maybe the Windsor Fratmen would,
give them a run for their money. Maybe
they could
this year
because they dominated the Ottawa Sooners. It was 44-9 to the final was in that game. No offensive touchdowns for the Sooners. We got it was a block punt touchdown actually by the brother of Nick Gorgachuk. I believe his name is Jordan Gorgachuk.
Yeah, it's Jordan. Yeah, he won that provincial VFL championship with Nick back in Niagara, whatever year that was, a couple years back now.
So that was that. Their next game is September 5th at the formerly Keith Harris Field, now something else.
MNB, it's a consulting firm. They've renamed
some consulting firm,
but they got some cash in there. They can maybe invest it in something worthwhile.
Yeah, so good for Carleton to get their name on there, because frankly I didn't know who Keith Harris was. So glad that they got some corporate sponsors in there. So great to see in the local city getting some more dollars in there for the football program. That's Saturday, September 5th versus Burlington, 7 p.m. for the Ottawa Sooners. So again, if you get an opportunity, guys, go watch some great football. Support the kids that are really playing hard for this great sport here. The last thing I wanted to talk about is... Actually, no, I won't talk about that. Let's just go right to a break. We'll take a quick break right now. And when we come back from the break, we are going to really break down all the games that we looked at on the CAFA.TV website. And we're also going to break down the Pee Wee Bantam and Midget and talk about the games coming up next week.
Can't wait.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the HESN Football Podcast. We are here, back. We're going to get right into it, into the NCAFA stuff, actually. We're going to really break down some of the games that we watched this weekend. So let's start with the game that you were involved in, Jesse.
Let's do it.
Jesse, if those who don't know, Jesse Carr is now defensive back coach for the Bell Warriors.
I'm
Bantam Division.
helping
out there. And his alma mater, he got sort of roped into it by one of the good guys out there in football, and he sort of went there and he's addicted, and he's really excited to.
Well, I always visioned, like, I had this plan for my coaching, starting to coach in the CAFA, and I was going to start at Tyke and move all the way up through it, so that I got that experience from not only a player, but then now as a coach. I think it would position you well to really understand the football community inside and out and be in a position to do that. I started at Bantam, so that's just the way it happened. And I talked to a lot of coaches, and they say, like, how did you get involved in coaching? And it's usually they were asked to.
Yeah.
Or they needed to. Steve Dean has told us that. Yeah. Usually you're needed and you're called upon. So that's what happened with me, and I'm loving it.
So let's talk a little bit about your game then. So you're head on the defense. You're playing the South Gloucester Raiders. Definitely lots of talent on the running back side. Both the guys know Goche, and I don't know the name of the other guy, but it looked good on film. Talk to us about the game, and what were your thoughts about both the teams?
Yeah, I think both teams played hard. They got off to a quick start, 7-0. We over pursued as a defense a little bit, and they had a big running back you mentioned, number 5. We'll have to get his name, but he took one in, and we got behind, but we rallied, and I was proud of the Warriors boys. But early in the season, it's always difficult because nobody has film on anybody. You don't know what to expect. All I knew is that the Raiders are always tough. Yeah. So that's what I was telling the guys all week. And And came away with another victory and 2-0 for the Warriors there.
Yeah, no, it was great. Breaking down the film a bit, I thought that like you said, tackling was a little bit of an issue for you guys. Let the guys run wild a little bit. I think your defense played better than the yardage would have shown. Obviously, you guys didn't give up too many touchdowns. Obviously, so you guys played well.
The defense could have been better for the Warriors. Like you said, tackling. This is new to me. I took the certification course on Football Canada about proper concussion protocol and tackling techniques and all that, and it's taken a bit of an adjustment for me coming from a safety that was an undersized guy that probably did, I hit the way I needed to hit just to get the job done.
And the game was different back then, too. We're talking 10, 12 years ago.
So it's tough, right? So teaching tackling, I find, is difficult. Like it's kind of awkward. So, but we're trying to get the guys to tackle the right way. Sometimes the result is some missed tackles.
And obviously, guys, quarterback stepping up, number 9 stepping up, making big plays here and there. So, good game by the Bell Warriors. They're now first place in the Bantam Division. That was a battle for first place because the winner of that game would have taken sole possession. So, good on both teams for putting up a good fight. And I guarantee you guys will probably see them again somewhere down the line. The next game we're going to talk about that we're actually watching here in the studio right now is the Cumberland Panthers versus the Orleans Bengals.
Yes.
Obviously, a huge rivalry between the two teams.
Huge.
Both the East End teams. And, surprisingly, the Orleans Bengals came out on top on this one.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised,
Okay.
like not that I don't really know much about the Bengals roster, but I thought that based on their first week's, the first week's game, they lost their first week's game.
I think I'm tainted just by a couple years ago. They were really weak at the Bantam Division.
They only had 17 kids,
and that's 17 kids, and I'm still thinking that that's them. But if they get a good roster, there's kids. The kids can play football in New Orleans,
and they got Keon Williams.
And HESN member Keon Williams, he's a special running back in this league. We got a lot of good running backs in the league this year at Bantam.
We got a lot of good players, and but the Bengals put on a great show. Keon, made a lot of big plays. Again, a lot of other good players on the team. We just don't know them yet. Yeah. And we're going to get to know these guys as the season goes on and as HESN builds.
Yeah, a little note is if you want to be known, you want to be talked about, get your name out there by registering at hesn.co for free, and at least we'll be aware of you.
Yeah, and parents, if you're listening to the podcast and you want to sort of see some of your kids' games film, make sure you tell your kids to go register, or go register your kids yourself and just get them out there, because the more people that register, the more games we can do and the more people we can promote.
Yep.
And that's what we're trying to do here at the House Edge Sports Network, is really promote the sport, promote the kids, and promote the positivity that these sport brings to everyone.
Totally.
But yeah, good game, 13-7.
So the Bengals 13-7.
Big win. So big win for the Bengals. Panthers are now 1-1 all the way through. A lot of logjam here at the Bantam Division. The other game that happened was the Bel Air Lions versus Myers Riders,
which is a heated West End rivalry.
Right beside each other, West End
rivalry.
That
was the semifinal for the A Cup last year.
Big upset.
That Bel Air took.
That's right. So they ended up winning again this week. I believe the score was. Look at this guy. Sorry, I'm sorry. Just watch this guy.
We're watching. Yeah.
We're watching.
Number 33 for the Bengals.
Number 33 for the Bengals. I want you to call me. I want you to know your name.
So who does he remind you of?
He reminds me of Bam Morris.
Yeah.
That's who it is. I was talking. But watch this guy.
Jerome Bettis,
the bus. I want to know who this guy is. Number 33 from the Bengals. Somebody send him into HESN so we can get registered, because he's got some fancy footwork for a guy who looks about 3'10". Back to the Myers and Bel Air game, though. That was a huge win. I believe the score was 18-2. Number 10 for the Bel Air Lions.
Not surprised, Liam Paquette.
Oh, well, we don't know.
I think I talked to a few guys last night. Tyler Broman was at the game, and he said that's Liam Paquette, number 10. He had a punt return for a touchdown. Yeah. One move gone.
Okay.
That
kid is amazing.
He had a real physical tackle or two.
Made plays all over the field. Yeah. He made all plays all over the field, special teams, defense. So I want Liam Paquette to go to hsn.co. I want his dad, who's listening. Go register if he's not going to go. Make sure you get it done, because this kid's got some special talent, and we want to show the rest of the world how good this guy really is. But big win for the Bel Air Lions. 2 in a row against Myers Riders. Myers Riders doesn't lose 2 in a row to too many organizations, and that's a big win there.
You hear the coaches talk about that at the end of the highlight.
That's
so
right.
Go to nakafa.tv to check out all the week's highlights.
Yep.
If you haven't already, and
more coming out today. We got a couple more coming out today, so it's going to be lots of great stuff. We're also going to talk about the Red Blacks and the Wolverines at the Bantam, which was a fantastic football game.
That's a big game, and it's got us Warriors a little worried, because the Wolverines, as we know, have trouble with their recruiting. They've got a huge kind of rural area. A lot of people have to drive from long distances to get there. So when they have a chance to have a good season like they are at Pee Wee and Bantam this year, I mean, they're going all out. So they're a dangerous team. I think this is a huge battle, the Warriors versus the West Carleton Wolverines this year in the West Division.
Yeah, and that's next week.
And the Red Blacks, I mean, they won against the Raiders of week 1, right?
That's right.
Or no, sorry, they beat.
Well, I can't remember who they won, but they won.
They won their first game, and they got an athletic quarterback wearing number 7. He looks like Michael Vick in those colors.
They can play.
And they're not to be slept on at all either.
Not.
So West Carleton's going to be a good team this year.
Oh, yeah. When you got a guy like Hayden Tripp in the backfield running the ball for you, you're dangerous no matter who you play or when you play. Cold weather, hot weather, and that's the benefit of a solid ground game,
He's a bruiser, yeah.
He's a bruiser, so as the weather gets colder and the season gets sort of long and thin, big bruising guys tend to succeed.
If you're listening to this and you don't know who Hayden Tripp is, go to HESN.co. Check out his profile. We're just starting to build it now. He's a member that just joined this week, and I'm telling you, this kid is going to have an ability to advance as a player. Yeah. He kind of reminds me of that Queens running back from out the same area.
He does.
Jesse Andrews.
He's another guy personally. Hayden Tripp. He reminds me of Emmett Smith as well. He's not tall. I know we talked about Kean being like that too, but Hayden has that power, but he's not like that. He's not a speedster. He's fast enough. He's shifty. He's powerful.
Did you see him run that 70-yard one?
He can take it to the house,
yeah,
right? So I think he's a well-rounded running back. I think he has the ability to succeed at the next level. But most importantly right now, he has the ability to take the West Carleton Wolverines and make them relevant in the Bantam division and have a chance to win an A Cup. Because right now, based on what I've seen in the Bantam division, it's wide open. Well, it is wide
So
open.
I just heard a story that our Warriors defensive coordinator at Bantam, Joe Papalia, a guy that asked me to come coach, he at Tyke suggested to the coach when Hayden was a Tyke out there in West Carleton that, hey, that guy's pretty good. You should move him to your running back. And, the tight coach said, hey, he's our best defensive player. Why would I move him to offense? He says, because he'll be your best offensive player too. So now here we are. It's going to bite him in the butt because we're playing him this week. And he's the guy, our defensive coordinator, Joe, is the guy that actually suggested that he played running back in the first place. So,
well, I'll blame Joe if something doesn't happen that great this week.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Exactly. But no, that's a good story. And that's what's great about NCAFA, right, guys, is that we have seen so many of these kids. We've seen them grow up. We've coached against them. We've filmed them for years. And the fact that we have it all archived on NCAFA.tv, I think we got games from Hayden Tripp and Bantam at OV, which is basically the Pee Wee division.
Well, he's in the 2015 NCAFA promo, stiff arm in the Cumberland Panther at Minto.
We have this is what HESN does, guys, and this is what House Edge Media is always trying to do, is to try to encapsulate these moments in time for the parents and the kids, and we want to keep it going forever so that everybody will have an opportunity to sort of feel it and see it and be part of it.
And you know what? Let's not beat around the bush. I mean, if you're somebody listening, whether you have a kid in the league or not, you can sponsor a player through HESN. We've built the tools where if you want to contribute, if you like what we're doing, little bit goes a long way. And if you want to support, you could sponsor a kid on a membership of HESN, and that would just allow us to go out and film a few more games. Right?
That's right. And I want to know who this number 11 is for Bengals Pee Wee, because look at this. He took it to the house on this one.
Oh yeah, number 11. Yeah.
So number 11
housed it.
Yeah, Pee Wee Bengals.
Yeah.
Holla at me, son.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are.
So what are some of the other games here that?
Those are the Bantam games that we did. We did some. We did the midget game. Obviously, we did the Eagles versus the Norsemen, which was a really good game. Obviously, the Eagles. Jacob Spinella, 400 yards, 6 touchdowns. He really sort of set the stage for that game. Sort of set the tone. High-powered offense for the Eagles, chucking it all over the field.
It was a QB kind of battle because we had Quinn Stewart on the Norsemen that's getting the playing time
that's
now,
right? 9 touchdowns between the two OVFL quarterbacks.
He stuck it out this summer with the Myers Riders right to the championship when they met Essex head on, and it didn't go great for them there. But you know what? I respected that Quinn stuck it out, and you've got some experience with that too. Explain your story about when you said, you know what, I don't know if I'm going to spend that time all that summer on the bench, on the bench, and then what happened the next week?
Oh, you're talking about the junior
year that you
so
played.
like my last year of junior, I played junior for 2 years, and I was a 20-year-old playing in the junior league, and I stayed a whole year, backup quarterback, 50-50. We were a terrible team, and came back the next year and was really excited to get an opportunity to start. came up there. Another quarterback came in who had a good relationship with the coach at the time. He started him week 1. And then the decision came to me like, okay, he's the starter. He played well. He's a good player. I'm not saying I was better than that player or anything, but he was there. And I made that decision to be like, do I want to actually decide to myself, do I want to stay on the bench to commit all this time? I decided that, you know what, I had other things I wanted to do in my life at the time. Stopped playing, told the coach that was it for me. And that game, the quarterback dislocated his shoulder. He was out for the year.
So the third guy started.
I don't even know we had a third guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
but I tell that story because the way I look at it is you never know what's going to happen, and sometimes you stick it out. It might turn in your favor.
And it's you really want to make sure that when you're playing football, you want to have a plan. You want to know what the plan is. Why am I playing? And I was at that point in my life where I didn't have a why. There was nothing left for me. I wasn't having that much fun anymore.
Did you have kind of a support network around you of mentors?
Well,
and
me, I was lucky
that
because
are
I
looking
did.
out for your career?
My dad was good because he was involved with football my whole life. So I think I was luckier than most to have a dad that was involved with football, knowledgeable about football, and understood what it took. But I don't think the support system was around for my dad to be able to give me the proper information. And I don't think for anyone at the time. Only the people like Jesse Palmer's dad who really went that super extra crazy mile to really get the people noticed. But I think what HESN can do for these kids and what can it do for the league is really allow people to get noticed the right way. Really get the recognition they deserve for accomplishing things on and off the football field, that it's all positive. Like, talk a little bit about what you're doing with Honoré and Stefan.
Yeah, so we want to find opportunities for not just the athletes that are signing up, and we want to find opportunities that can generate some revenue, and through volunteer opportunities. That's something that clubs always struggle doing as a club. But also, I believe that players don't see the value all the time of putting in effort for the club. Yeah. Just because, until you get older, you realize that people need money and things cost money to operate. So, why not put the power of fundraising into the kids' hands for themselves? And Honorable Aloki and Stefan Tashimbi came out with me. We found an opportunity with Minto Homes. It's their 60th anniversary, and we were handing out flyers outside of the Red Blacks game on Sunday night. And they earned themselves $200 doing that work. So, I'm certainly working hard to find those opportunities. And, if anyone's listening or can think of any way that we can put a huge base of kids to work in exchange for league fees or HSM memberships or whatever, let's work at it together.
And you know what? The benefit to this is those are two players that do have the potential to make some waves at the next level. And we want to be there to make sure that we can sort of fill in the gaps where the system isn't there for them. If they need training, well, we can support them because we got great people at EPA. If they need some help with school, well, I know Honoré doesn't because him and his brother, I think his brother was valedictorian, and Honoré wants to be like a brain surgeon or something, probably teach me a few things. But any other kids that are having trouble in school or need some help there, we want to give them an opportunity to talk to a tutor or maybe have some quiet space where they can sit down and do homework before practice. We want to give kids the things that they don't have, that they need to succeed at the next level. And like Jesse said, anyone that's listening, every little bit helps. If you can help support a kid, support a team, all that will go towards great HESN services like filming games, creating profiles.
Yeah, you can give as much as you want. If you go to the HESN website, you drop down on sponsorship opportunities. It's as little as $5 a month up to $25. So we're not talking about a huge chunk of change here for most people, and goes a long way. And you could help out somebody, stay serious about football and get them to the next level.
And for the games that we've filmed this week and we haven't covered here on the podcast, make sure you guys go to nakafa.tv to check out all the games from last week. We're going to be putting up the last two today. We're also going to be filming a game tonight. We're going to be at the Mustangs and Eagles Bantam game at Bob Stephen, which is super important for both those teams. Because Mustangs still haven't played a game yet. They had forfeit their game week 1. They had a bye week 2, and now they're coming in week 3.
They must be itching to get going.
They're itching to get going. I know they've been filling in the roster and making sure that they are going to have a competitive team. They feel pretty confident with some of the athletes they have. I know the Eagles are reeling a bit, after having 2 successful seasons in a row at the 8 Cup final. Starting the season 0-2, let alone potentially 0-3 would be 0-3 would sort of be the end of their season. I think that the Eagles are going to come out strong this week. I think they're going to sense that it's now or never. And they're going to need to start turning it around.
The expectations are high in Nepean.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough there. And I think that these are young. A lot of these, I know they have a lot of young kids coming up from Pee Wee. I know they had a lot of kids moving up.
They're a junior team.
They're a junior team. But you know what? I think that this is hard lessons.
Well,
both their games were close.
They got one of the most electrifying players, if not the most electrifying player in the league with Ono.
Exactly.
Right? So
they have a chance every game.
You got to find a way to win with that guy.
And you know what? They've been in both games. It's not like they got blown out. It was 22-16 in your game week 1. I think it was 34-26 last week. So they're right there. So that's a game we're doing Wednesday night. Friday night we're going to be at the Red Blacks versus the Stamps.
Midget.
Now last week we were there too. Everyone's asking, what the hell happened with the Stamps game? Well, I'll tell you what happened. The lights didn't come on. I don't know.
What field was that at?
That was at Calidar.
Okay.
It was at Calidar. I got there at 6:30 or so, and I was like, why aren't the lights on yet? I was like, let's get them on because, and no one listens to me as usual. But the bottom line was, lights didn't come on. Game got postponed. It was 20-0 for the Stamps at that point against the Bengals. They look good.
They do, right?
The Stamps, they have some weapons.
Okay, so now we're looking at
weapons.
some of the knocks on midget football over the last few years is that there's a couple good teams and there's quite a few not so good teams.
Yep.
We're looking at the Eagles and the Norsemen. They made a game of it.
Yep.
And now if the Stamps are good, we got 3 contenders right now, so this could be a good year.
I think how you break it down is basically like this: like Eagles are the best team in the league. You can't
defending
argue
champs.
that.
Okay.
They've been in the championship the last 2 years. They've probably gotten better from last year based on the talent they've gotten. Jacob Spinella at quarterback. Kyle was a great quarterback last year, but Jacob Spinella was the starting OVFL quarterback.
Kyle's at Bishops now.
Yep. So it's not losing
fighting
a lot.
for a position. Yep.
But I'll tell you, Jacob Spinella is playing great. And they got Kyrie Fletcher still there. They got Eddie at wide receiver. They got a lot of talent at that team. They got Dan Porter up, at linebacker.
They've got the twins that are playing receiver.
That's right.
And
so we got lots and lots of. They got lots of talent. I can't really say there's another team that sort of comes close to them. But that doesn't mean that they can't be beat. So I think there's 3 tiers of teams. I think there's the Eagles are they're the cream of the crop. I think we got Norsemen. I think we got Stamps. I don't know about Red Blacks.
We haven't seen them.
Don't know about Cornwall yet.
Yep.
And I don't know about Canada.
Yep.
But I know all those 5 teams, I think on any given day, based on maybe some rosters, there probably could be a win there. What I saw from the Bengals, just based on their numbers, it's going to be tough for the Bengals to be an impact this year. Just based on numbers, some of their players are really good.
Well, they're going to come out to prove you wrong now.
Good. Dan Buckley, I'm calling you out, son. I want to see your voice. That's my buddy's coaching. Dan Buckley, good player I played with for many years and against, and he's coaching there. It's not a lack of talent. It's just a lack of depth. They only have 21 guys. Yep. So if they could get another few more guys, I know that the guys they have can do it. So with midget right now, there is a best team, but I think the rest of the teams, they're all going to be fighting for those spots. And eventually, I think the Norsemen and the Stamps are probably the 2 teams that really have a good chance at some point in the year to dethrone the Eagles. Those are the only 2 teams in my books right now.
Right. And you know what? We have been talking about midget for quite a few years, and we're looking at it and we're saying, this really is a holding pad for the next level, right? Yeah. We've got kids. We counted just alone about 13, and I'm sure there's more than that advanced from the midget league in the fall last year and then are playing on the roster of the CIS teams right now. So, it is a holding pad. There's guys that are advancing up to the Sooners as well. So this is a relevant league, and we want to see people out to the games. Having said that, you know what? We want to make it better too. So, So this year we're going to be experimenting with some things and seeing if we can get some of these bantam stars to be getting over to the affiliates there.
Yeah, you know what? Football's football. We all love it. We want to give as many kids an opportunity to play football as we can. We think, just like you said, midget is a great spot for people to sort of refine their skills before they make that decision about where they want to go to the next level, whether that be Sooners, CJAP, OUA, NCAA, whatever it is. You got to find a way that you can keep your skills sharp. So we think that the midget and the NCAFA does a great job in comparison to high school overall. We just in the sense of that we know NCAFA a little bit better, gives every kid an opportunity, right? There's not every high school team has a football program.
17 of 55 is the numbers I was given recently.
That's right. So that's why we think that if these teams represent many different high schools in different neighborhoods, so there's an opportunity for kids to go there, get some good coaching, get good competition. But we love to hear from people about what they think could help midget football get better.
Yep.
We love to hear from people how this podcast can get better. We
Yep.
want to hear from people how Nick Caffey can get better. We just want to make things better. That's what we're always trying to do here. And
so
if any,
feel free. Also, we're releasing this on the HESN website on the blog so that you can comment and get some dialogue going underneath this podcast. So please leave your name, comment, and we'll be sure to listen to you guys and your feedback. And
the more feedback you guys
go
get,
forward.
the more feedback we're going to give you guys. But you know what? We want to thank everyone for listening to this week's edition of the HESN Football Podcast. We're going to be at tons of games this weekend. It's a long weekend. Don't forget, we'll be having games Sunday and Monday, Friday night and Wednesday. We're going to be doing tons of games. And make sure that you guys reach out to us and get registered so we can come on and film your games. And I want to thank everyone for listening. And I'm going to say thank you for Jesse Card. And this is Tyler McLaren saying peace.